There are some very high-performing students already in the district doing great things, and now we're going to switch to one who is a graduate, and he is now the football coach for Westside Leadership Academy. What's going on, Boswell?
Super excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Now tell me, tell me a little, give the audience a little bit of your background, because you're somewhat of a distinguished gentleman. You're a Cougar by blood, and now you find yourself right back at it, coaching a team that you played for.
Yeah, it's exciting. I was a 1997 graduate of Westside.
Yeah.
Played for Coach Eugene Johnson, and Jason Johnson was an assistant coach, and went away. I got a full scholarship to Ball State to play.
That's where I went.
Played, oh yeah. All right, there we go. There we go. Another thing in common.
What is that, Cardinals?
Yeah, the Ball State Cardinals.
Yeah.
So I played down there for 4 years and came back. Actually worked as a probation officer, and that's when I kind of started my coaching journey. Coached over in Illinois at Thornridge High School.
Oh, yeah.
And then came back to Westside and volunteered for Coach Gene Johnson while I was starting law school. My first year or two of law school, I was just a volunteer coach, showed up when I could and helped out. But it was always in my blood. So I've been a practicing attorney for about 11 or 12 years now, and always have coached on the side.
Yeah.
Kind of hung up my whistle for a while, but got started 3 years ago when my girlfriend's children wanted to get into football. So I got involved in Pop Warner, became a board member over there, and really helped regenerate or rejuvenate that program. When we started, we had about 80 kids in our program. Now we've got almost 250 kids playing football, and was able to bring that program back to Westside. We were practicing at Calumet for a while, but now we've made Westside the home of the Cougars. And when the coaching vacancy opened up at Westside, I threw my name in the hat and talked to Coach Lee about making the commitment to come back home and coach the Cougars, and been at it for about a month now. So we've been having about 45 to 50 kids show up every day. They're excited about the program. I'm excited to be back home, and we're gonna make a run at it.
Yeah, you are. And you know, I want to tell you this. When you and your girlfriend came in, I was telling you about Coach Earl Smith, who was on the show earlier, and he was really excited about you coming and being the coach of Westside. You know, he used to be the athletic director. He's a legendary coach at Wallace. And, you know, one of the things we talked about this morning, I think when you brought Pop Warner up, it made me think about it is, you know, this is summer, and obviously we know about what's going on with violence and young people and all that kind of stuff. And I think you can probably remember, because of, you know, you were around that time. But when I was coming up, I'm a couple of years older than you. But, you know, when we were growing up around here, you got sucked into sports. It was what young men did. And then later on, really young women. But young men, if you were walking around with 10 fingers, 10 toes, some adult or your dad was funneling you into Little League, bitty basketball, Pop Warner football, or something. And, you know, now, and we can have it, we're going to do the coaches show, by the way, and you're going to be on that show. But, you know, when you have these AAU and what it's doing, you don't have these central figures in the community that live in the community, came up in community, can somewhat be role models / mentors, and then help guide these young men who might not play professionally or anything like that, but can give them understand team, where you're meeting somebody you didn't grow up with, understand values. And so I think that you are it's important that you have come back. You might, you know, I know you know what you're doing and things like that, but I'm just telling you from the outside, it is very important for the community and young people to see a guy like you, a figure like you, kind of come and jump in with both feet in the deep end of the pool and commit. And I think you're going to, and you know, number one, you're going to get all the best athletes ever. There's one high school here now, so and they're going to get the best attention. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week when I did the other show at Jay's Breakfast Club with Chelsea. But we talked about how Little League used to be in the community.
Yes.
And there was more. Now we have Calumet Region Little League, which is doing a great job.
Well, we got Dr. Walker and Nate and Bentley Ellis that are they're fighting. They're trying to keep the dream alive.
Job.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when we were growing up, there was a Little League in Glen Park. There was Tolleson. There was Ambridge. Every community had a Little League, and so one problem we have now is just access.
Yes.
So a kid that wants to play, let's just say Calumet Region Little League, or wants to play Gary Stiller's Pop Warner at Westside, but they live in Miller.
Yeah.
You know, that's a long haul for mom and dad to get them to practice. Practice ends late. They got to drive back out to Miller.
Yep.
They live in Glen Park. Just just not having those kind of area-based teams where a kid only has to go 5 minutes. When I grew up playing Tolleson Little League Baseball, I walked to practice.
Yeah.
You know, my parents weren't home, but I come home, grab my ball and my bat after school, and I could walk for 15 minutes and be at practice, and they could pick you up. So we've got to get back to the community taking place. Kind of grabbing the mantle for youth sports, and Boys and Girls Club and Little League Baseball and different things like that to introduce kids to sports. So by the time they get to high school, we're not starting with a freshman who's never played football, or a freshman who's never picked up a ball and a bat. It's hard to be a baseball player when you've never swung a bat until ninth grade. I mean, it's almost impossible to really get competent in 3 to 4 years.
It's the hardest sport to play anyway.
Absolutely.
It's like hitting a ball upstairs when somebody's throwing a rock at you 90 miles an hour. You're right. So I guess I would ask this is, I talked with the Coach Lee about this, who's the athletic director, about the opportunities and the challenges that you all have, because I think that by being the only game in town and now starting to really move and you're getting attention because you're getting good. I mean, you're starting to win and going into the postseason. How do you create the infrastructure where you can start grabbing these middle school students? Because I don't know if the infrastructure is yet. When we were coming up, you used to have at least a football-orama. You would get together and you play 8th grade football for maybe about 4 games, and then you play against the other schools. And then that was when the high school coaches were seeing what was coming out of there. And the freshman coaches would start kind of tapping on the shoulder. How do you create that kind of infrastructure?
Well, it's there. We just need to develop it. This year, we played middle school football, and most of the other area teams have been playing 2 actual seasons.
Yeah.
The fall is what we consider like the 8th grade season.
Yeah.
So there are 6th and 7th graders on the team, but they're not getting a lot of playing time.
Right.
So 8th grade, they have a full season. I think they played about 6 games this year. But then we turned right around in the spring and had the 6th and 7th grade season. So they just finished up before the end of school year, and they had two jamborees, or like football oramas like we used to play, where they played all our conference foes in 2 days of jamboree kind of inter squad scrimmage to get the 6th and 7th graders ready for when they come back in the fall to play that 8th grade ball. So the infrastructure is there. We've got to develop it. My staff, we've been meeting for the last couple months, and we're excited to implement our system at the middle school level. So by the time the fall comes around, the 8th graders will be running pretty much the same system, a watered down version of what we're doing at the high school level, so that we're bringing those kids along. Also, having Gary Stillers back at Westside is so important, because we've got we've got championship teams all through that Gary Stillers. Our 10-year-olds just won the region.
Are they midgets or junior midgets?
Everything is unlimited now, so they're called 10U. They're called 10U. So our 10U just won, our 10 and I believe our 12 just won the conference championship in flag football. But in the fall, we had a 9U and a 13U group that won state championships, went on to regionals.
I can tell you, 'cause my son plays popcorn. I wouldn't. When we came out on the field, I said, "You're not playing."
So there are some
big boys.
formidable football players now, all the way from age 5. Our 5, 6, 7-year-old group is good. All the way up through 13-year-olds that are playing Pop Warner football in Gary. And if we get the middle school team rolling the way it needs to be, there's going to be a pipeline of good football players coming for the next 5, 10, 12 years.
And so, I agree with you totally. And, you're in a position as a high school athletic coach, in particular nowadays, in the way college sports are looking, and just what football it does. There are talented people. They use this to get an opportunity to go to college. They become, some of them go to the league, obviously, whatever. And then a lot of people, become lawyers, doctors, and they use that as a vehicle to kind of go out here and better themselves and ease the burden on their parents. And so, with that being said, as somebody who played at Westside and played on the previous environment, on the previous field and things like that, how much is are the new facilities going to be working in your favor for recruitment.
Oh, invaluable.
You get what I'm saying? Because right now, the way the enrollment is set up in school, you can go out here and start to, there are fathers out here, mothers out here who have some talented people, and they see the facilities and the turf that is over at Westside. You're starting to think like, hey, mom, dad, or can we drive a little extra? We'll get up early in the morning to get that kid over to Westside.
Yeah, I would say even before we get to the turf, I mean, just seeing all the construction that's going on the school building itself, the new roof, new air conditioner, new things that are going on in the school, just bringing us up to standard.
Yeah.
All right. When you bring a parent around or a kid comes and they see bulldozers and cranes and things going on at Westside that they haven't seen in 20 or 30 years, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Then we take a look over to the football field and you see all the tractors that are going on over there. We just had the Lonnie Johnson Protect the Youth football camp last Saturday. And we had about 300 kids from all over the region come in, and you could just hear the parents buzzing about the construction that was going on the football field. And we told all the kids, hey, next year when you come back for camp, we'll be on that brand new stadium, on that brand new turf. So it's an exciting time for Gary. It's an exciting time for the Gary School Corp. And I'm just here to do my part and help promote what's going on.
Now, is that camp, the Lonnie Johnson football camp, can that be used, or is it being used as somewhat of an open house? Because you were an athlete. You know how it was when Ball State was offering you some money and you were a very good high school athlete. So they got you coming down there. They're trying to show you the bells and whistles so they can take an advantage and get you over another school and what they have to offer. Do you use that camp as an opportunity, or maybe going forward when everything's laid out, to get some of these athletes who come to the camp and might not necessarily be around here, and they're like, Mama, Dad, I want to go over there, please.
Yeah, well, we can't recruit, but certainly hosting the camp at our facility is a definite plus when those young kids, we do 2 sessions. So the morning session was for our young athletes, and then the afternoon session was middle school and high school. So when those young athletes were in there, the parents are looking around and they see the things that are going on. It definitely doesn't hurt that we got cranes and bulldozers and things going on. People have seen, Westside being the youngest high school in Gary, but it's been down for so long. To see the roof going on and the paving of the parking lot and new high HD LED lights in the parking lot and the track. I mean, all that stuff that's going on in the last 2 to 3 years, people are seeing it. But now the football field is just such a big investment. It's such a big investment, and one that's very visible. When you drive past, you may not be able to see the new pavement in the parking lot, but when you drive past and you see trucks going in, moving dirt, and trucks coming in, bringing gravel for the new football stadium, people take note. So I'm excited about it. I think we had, like I said, about 300 kids there.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm sure some of them will be future Cougars.
Absolutely. And so have you had conversations, with whether it be initiated by Coach Lee, but where you get together with the basketball coach and you guys kind of sit back and you kind of take stock? Because you got a lot of studs that are coming through your program. You got a guy that just left. He set out, obviously, last year, but he's going to the mecca of college football, North Carolina. I think you put this picture on Instagram where you were with some of your friends, and I didn't realize how many people, I can't believe I'm saying this, Westside put into the league.
Yeah,
I mean, there are a lot of people from Westside that went straight into the NFL and are currently in there. Can you use that? I mean, do you all kind of sit back and Dane Evans, who played there, you sit back and say, listen, we got to go out here and market this place as as for student athletes. This is a very good place to go right now.
I've been saying it for years. Even when I wasn't the coach of Westside, I've always been an ambassador for Westside and promoting the things that were going on at school. And even minus the facilities, we're getting them up to standard now. But even prior to that, we've been putting kids out for years.
Absolutely.
We've been putting kids out for years, going to Division I colleges and going on to play professional football, basketball, baseball. LaTroy Hawkins, of course, was up for the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame last year.
One of the best middle relievers ever. He created the position.
So we've been putting them out. I would put our record or resume against any school in the region, regardless of what conference, regardless of what classification, and whatever facilities they had.
Yeah.
We had kids that were hungry.
Yep.
We had coaches that were excited to coach them.
Yeah.
And administrative and teachers that when they recognized someone who had talent, they cultivated and nurtured and helped them get to where they want to be. So
Right.
Westside's track record it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But that picture that you were talking about, that was after the camp.
Right.
We went out to BW3s and we had the waiter take a picture, and when I sat back and looked at the picture, I said, "Oh, it's like 6 Division I guys, 3 NFL guys, 1 second-round draft pick, all sitting around the table,
Yes,
all from Westside."
all from Westside.
So that brotherhood is something that we cultivate and we lean on. Like
Yeah.
the kids that came to the camp, they saw everyone there, and
Right.
people fly in from out of town to participate in the camp. So, and I'm sure when we open this new stadium and have our grand opening, they're going to be guys flying in
Yeah.
to partake in that.
Can't
So
wait,
Yeah.
can't wait.
we've got a track record, and we definitely lean on that, and that's definitely something that I promote. That the brotherhood of
Yes.
Westside and the track record of Westside kids going on and excelling at a high level, and not just in professional sports. I mean, you can talk about Jalen, the young man who's going on to North Carolina,
Yeah.
but he also was the salutatorian.
That's what I was saying.
So
that's what I'm talking about.
We're anticipating him being a pro basketball player.
Student athlete is real.
We're anticipating him being a pro basketball player, but Jalen is a fine academic
got
student.
options. He
could be a
He's
doctor.
going to North Carolina, a great academic institution. The sky's the limit for that young man.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that I was wondering also, and I know you haven't gotten into games yet, but you have, as you said, you've been doing this off and on. Obviously, you have to concentrate on your professional career, but you've always been out here coaching, whether it be, privately and things like that. And I can just remember it was about 7 years ago, man. It was probably one of the worst points in athletics here. I was on another place doing my show, and I remember that there was a game that got canceled at Westside because the team had contacted the IHSAA and said that, we're not going to play them, and because their facilities are horrible, our students are going to get hurt. And it was just a very, very low point for athletics in this town. And so as this thing is turned around, I mean, I know it's been slow. You all been jumping in different conferences, but then now all the teams are starting to put winning records together. I think what you did with what your football program did with the cornerback and the running back last year as far as state rankings was absolutely amazing. So have you heard conversations from possibly some of your rival coaches about they're kind of now keeping an eye on you? You are being taken. You're being a little more taken. You have, Doc?
I am.
Because you go around, you hear stuff.
Well, I can just tell you, and I'm not going to tell you which school district
don't
it
tell.
was, but I was out in the community, and some gentleman approached me, and he said, "Are you Dr. McNulty?" I said, "Yeah," and he goes, "Oh, I'm the coach of such and such, and football. I'm the varsity football coach, and we're watching your school over there. We're very nervous."
There you go.
And I had never met this person in my life.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you should be nervous."
There you. I like your
'Cause
style.
you know.
Look at you talking some smack. You shouldn't
I'm a
be
big
there.
football person. I'm very competitive. So,
I would say even
I
during
hope
the
I'm right. Okay.
even during the interview process, when word got out that I was interviewing for the position, coaches from all over, because I had connections with these
that's
coaches
right.
from coaching youth football and training athletes. I know most of the coaches in the area, or a lot of the coaches in the area. They started texting me and calling me, wishing me luck, and letting me know that they were watching.
Right.
They are.
Once we got the job, some of those, my phone dried up. They don't call me as much anymore because they know.
watching.
But I think Westside's always been a sleeping giant of a program, and now everyone knows that the things we did without the facilities are only going to be enhanced once we get facilities that rival all of our area surrounding schools. The things we did on the basketball court, the things we did on the track. I mean, I talk about the 2014 state championship track team all the time. Yeah. They've got to be the only team in history to win a state championship in track without a track.
Right.
Imagine what we're going to do now that we have a track.
Right.
Right. So all of the sports at Westside are only going to be enhanced by the things that are going on, and people in the region are taking notice. Gary has kind of been a brain drain for everybody else. The best and the brightest have always looked to the suburban schools, the Maryvilles, the Valpos, the Crown Points. Now, if we can get some of those kids to stay home, I've kind of patented the slogan, "Stay in Gary, play in Gary."
Right.
You know, those kids that live in Gary within our footprint don't have to travel to Maryville, don't have to go get, Auntie's address in
Thank you.
Griffith to go enroll over there. You can stay at home, stay in Gary. You came up through Gary Elementary, Gary Middle School, but when they get to high school, they feel like, oh, I have to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
Well, now we're telling them stay in Gary,
Absolutely.
play in Gary, and the best thing about the time we're in now is Gary's the hometown team.
Yes.
You know, the Roosevelts, all the Roosevelt pride, all the Lew Wallace pride. I grew up in the Horace Mann area. All that
I'm
pride
sorry
from
about
our
that. You grew up
alumni.
in the Horace Mann.
Hey, I grew up in Horace Mann, but I'm a Cougar, so that's just where my house happened to be.
They don't even got a gym.
Yeah, but all of that pride, because Gary has tons of pride in our athletics.
Yes, we do.
Is funneled right to West Side.
One place.
One place.
Yeah.
So if we can harness the power of all those alumni, and all that history and tradition to now funnel that to 9th and Jerry, everyone in the region knows it's gonna be dangerous.
Now one last question. I got to ask Dr. Paige. You see what happened, Dr. Paige? You brought him here, and I'm just getting ginned up. But as we were talking about Jalen and what he accomplished and doing that, I could make the argument that you were one of those Jalens. I'm talking about you were an intelligent gentleman. You've gone. I mean, you're smart. You went to Ball State on a scholarship. You parlayed that into you're a very well-respected lawyer. I hear people talk about you. I don't know how often you practice or whatever because you're doing other stuff with kids. But how do you kind of duplicate that? Because that's something that you could aspire to, and where you not only you're getting the best of the best athletically, but they're also being challenged to kind of go out here and do their studies and things like that, because you know better than most, being a college athlete, that they don't play that at that next level. If they're giving you money and they bring you on campus,
even if they're not giving you money,
That's true.
They don't play that. So how do you get these young people and mold them in that image?
Sure.
While you have the opportunity.
Sure. Well,
because their coach is that guy.
Yeah. Give a shout out to Coach Bugs, the basketball coach. Jalen was salutatorian, but he was second in a row.
Yeah.
Last year, the salutatorian was a basketball player as well.
I know.
So Coach Bugs has kind of laid out the blueprint of how to get the academics and the athletics. But what we've done since we've been in, first off, I took a look at all the kids' academic record, and it wasn't where we needed it to be. So we've implemented study table
I was about to ask you, we're going to bring study table.
Yeah, so we've got 2 hours of study table. When the kids get out of summer school, they come to the computer lab and they do 2 hours of study before we lift weights or even take the footballs out of the bag. That's important. Our 3 core values, or the 3 pillars of our program, are number 1, to graduate from Westside High School. That's the number 1.
Exactly.
Number 2 is to win a conference championship. And number 3 is to represent yourself, your family, and Westside High School in a first-class manner at all times.
Nice.
So everything, I don't have a big list of rules, don't curse, don't fight, don't do this, but represent yourself in a first-class manner kind of encapsulates all of that.
Yeah.
And our number 1 goal being to graduate our kids, study table and academics is first and foremost in our program. So those
you getting
young
a lot
men
of buy-in from the students so far?
I think they are. Most importantly, I think they are excited to have someone care about their academic record just as much as their athletic record.
Yeah.
A lot of our kids, even if you failed a class as a freshman, now that you're a junior or a senior, there are opportunities to go back with credit recovery and take care of that. I'm telling them all, I want you to walk the stage, when it's time to walk the stage and not have to worry about summer school and all these type of things. So if we can get ahead of the curve and fix some of these deficiencies you may have had your freshman or sophomore year, we can get you back on track so you can walk the stage with the rest of your class. So academics is first and foremost. Like you said, being someone who, in my household, I was the outlier. Being an athlete.
Right.
My parents were academics.
Yes, they were.
My parents were academics.
And artists.
Yeah, when I picked up a ball or a bat or anything, that was extracurricular in the most sincere sense of the word. The curricula came first. Anything extra was just that, extra.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to impress upon that with our students, but the number 1 priority is have them graduate and graduate on time. Winning a conference championship, always being competitive on the field is number 2. And number 3, absolutely being a great person in the community and knowing, that you represent West Side on the front of your jersey and you represent your family on the back of your jersey. So.
Absolutely. God bless you, Alger. I mean, because
that's why we hired him.
That's why you hired him, because this is the kind of stuff, playing in sports, in my life, there's something about a team and having a leader like you that inspires you, where you don't want to let them down. Even, you get what I mean? Like, if everybody else is buying you, and I'm going to go out here. I don't want to be the guy that's getting the F. And you know what they say in sports: the best ability is availability. And so if I can't play on the team because of probation or something like that, I'm doing nobody. I'm letting my guys down, and I'm letting coach down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, Paige, this is awesome. Great job. I think the sports are going to be doing great this year.
I do too. I do too. So we're very excited. As you know, I'm very competitive. I've said that 3 times now, but I'm very excited to be out there. He asked me when I sat down, "Are you coming to the football?" I said, "Of course."
Yeah. That was made clear to me in the beginning that Dr. McNulty is a football fan.
Absolutely.
And she wants to see football succeed.
And bragging rights.
Yeah.
So she wants some W's.
Yeah.
So
the gravel is all laid on the football field, and they're looking to lay the carpet down next week. So we're excited to have that done and be ready to go for opening game.
That's right.
Now, shout out, going back to the district, I've been seeing a lot of trucks moving around. I know there's been stuff coming around here, the infrastructure.
Yeah. This parking lot will be done next week.
Oh, my goodness, because I know over, just because these are older buildings, there were some challenges as far as, the AC, because it was getting overwhelmed by the heat. And then immediately I come back expecting the worst, and boom, everything's working. And so I want to give a shout out to the team and to your team, who are really working overtime, I assume, to try to make things ready for the opening of the school year.
So summer is very much our busy time. I know, most of the students are gone, but we use this time to really work on the buildings triple time, because we have more access with people being gone. So, so like I started the conversation, we're probably spending $45 million here in the next year on capital projects around the district. Every single penny being pumped right into kids, buildings, curriculum, all those things to better improve our district. So we're very excited, but it's a lot of work, but fun work.
It is fun. You have we've had the pleasure of having the principal of Bailey on.
Yes.
During the camp that we have, there are a couple of students. Matter of fact, 3 girls specifically come to mind who are from Bailey and are in the STEM program. And I got to tell you something. One matter of fact, I count this young gentleman who's a math genius. He's a little withdrawn. He's not necessarily be in the media, even though he says he wants to be an AccuWeather weatherman when he gets older. So I'm working on him. But I've gotten to see the product. You get what I mean? I'm not a teacher. I'm not in the classroom. I don't have any children of my own, so I don't really all the time get to see what goes into, or what these young people are doing. I've got family members. I don't see them on a regular basis. But now, in the past couple of weeks or so, we've been working with these groups. And I got to tell you, these Bailey kids, I guess Bailey is, when I was in school, is the new Tolliston of middle school, where it's where the high academically proficient students go, or what I know it is the STEM program.
It's the STEM program,
because these kids are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, but it's for any student.
Yeah.
So we've got students of all ability levels. Students, once they leave elementary, can pick between the fine arts school or the
that's right. I forgot that.
So, but they both have the same academic rigor at both schools.
Yeah, because there's some Gary Middle School students in the program as well.
Yeah, and then certainly we differentiate from there based on the students' ability levels. But we have some super shining stars at both of our middle schools.
Okay, I know. I believe, like I said, I don't want to disrespect the one young lady.
I don't want to get a call as soon as I leave here.
The one young lady. I'm just a little biased because I'm excited about what we're doing, and I got to just say, for a very ambitious plan that I had for the summer for a couple of weeks. It's gone beyond expectations, and it's being driven by kids who voluntarily are hanging out with us for about 4 hours or so this summer, and they all go to Bailey, and you just got to hear them when I start talking about their school. They're all in, and they love the principal, by the way.
Yeah, and how cool is that, right? That they're all excited and here during summer and ready to to pick up and go in the fall.
Yeah.
We have the new maker space that's being installed at Bailey
Right.
now, which is all the project-based learning. And, again, that was another like $1 million investment that we made just into that school.
See, that's called
And
resources.
that's called resources. And so we made that specifically investment for that school because it is the STEM school.
Right.
So all those classrooms will be retrofitted with robotics
Right.
equipment and all sorts of things to build and platforms for kids to work in cooperative groups
Right.
and on the floor or on the walls. It's going to not look like a traditional classroom,
Right.
And have all sorts of building engineer type stuff. So we're very excited for the rollout of that.
Now, I've always wanted to ask you this. I think we talked about in the past, and I know you've got your academic team who work on curriculums and things like that. But and I'm sure Al could possibly even weigh in on this as well, being a scholar himself. But as you start to see, you're an educator, Dr. Paige. You see right now things are going, they're trying to get into the elementary schools. I mean, we've seen it for years happen in other countries, Japan and Germany and places like that really start to indoctrinate their kids and get them on these pathways at third, fourth, fifth grade even. And so now the United States educational system is starting to really take I guess maybe 10 years or so they were really doing that. But now they seem to be aggressively doing that. You're seeing these specialty tracks pop up in elementary schools and things like that. And so as parents are now looking for the next best option to make a choice for their school, are Gary schools poised, and are they already doing that? I mean, what is going on down at the educational levels?
Yeah, so we're definitely trying to give students options and opportunities so that they can learn a little bit about each one of these expertise so that they could make those choices when they get into middle school and certainly high school, where they have to kind of choose more of a pathway towards graduation, if you will. And again, as we've talked, you don't have to just choose one. You can choose several.
Right.
And we actually encourage that so that you leave with multiple certifications under your belt. But we definitely are exposing the students all the way down now to kindergarten level, so that they can, be learning about technology and cybersecurity and all those things as little ones. They're going to know more about it than we are, for sure. Anyway, so we're definitely exposing them at the very youngest level, making sure that they have as many opportunities as possible.
Now, how, bringing sports back,
And
a
clubs,
lot of us,
and
the
clubs.
clubs, because this is where I'm going with this, is as we kind of get back into looking at what the ideal student is kind of comprised of, I'm also starting to notice that the arts are essential, extracurricular activities, because students obviously find their niche as they go along. Some love the academics, but they want to be a math club. Some, and some students are athletic, obviously, and they gravitate towards the sports. But it is
we have a whole gardening club going on.
Thank you. That's
right
what
now.
I'm saying.
Horticulture that they formed on their own.
That's what I'm
we have
saying.
A group of parents who are heading that up on their own, volunteering their time, and they're doing the courtyards at many of the schools and outside areas at many of the schools. We donated the materials for the club, and they're doing all the retrofitting and planting and of all that. So it's that's another whole. Look at all the landscaping and all the gardening around.
See, that's what I was asking, because you're a professional educator, Dr. Paige. I mean, you've taught special needs, but you are an academic. And so I know there's probably no data to quantify it right now because we're still coming out of the pandemic and we're still just getting more and more information. But as you start to add on more of these things and make some more, have you noticed some upticks as far as graduation and test scores? That's kind of what I'm asking, because it seems that you all are, you've been working, you kept your head down, you've been going through a lot, but now the fruits are starting to bear. And you're starting to see results, whether it be in the athletic programs and interest. And I know you're getting clubs. I see teachers more committed. I was telling you about the memo that came out of the district where they were looking for volunteers to kind of come over and you were willing to pay people to kind of be sponsors of these groups. Have you started to see a little bit of, a bump in the students' behaviors as far as test grades and things like that?
Absolutely. The test scores have gone up now for the third time this year.
Yeah.
So we had just received our iReady formative assessments that we got probably the last 2 weeks of school. We had another 10 to 15% bump at all grade levels.
Nice.
K through 12. Again, our graduation rate went up at least 5% and still growing this summer. All those things are indicators that we're doing the right things. Our iRead score for the third graders went up another 6%. We voluntarily tested our second graders for iRead, which you don't have to do.
Right, voluntarily.
But we chose to do it
Just
as
to
a
see where you
district
were.
because, well, two reasons, actually several reasons. One is if the second graders pass,
Yeah.
then they're waived out of the test in third grade.
Oh, okay.
So then you're kind of whittling down the ones that you need to really concentrate
Right.
on, you know. So we
That
had
makes sense.
so we had a whole group of second graders who passed this year,
Yeah.
the iRead. And then additionally, for those kids in second grade who didn't pass, now we know what we need to hone in on,
Yeah.
what skill sets specifically. And so we can get those kids in earlier for
Right,
summer
right.
school, perhaps this
Yeah.
summer, and then next year into some remediation so that they can pass in
Right.
third grade and not have to wait till third grade summer school and fourth grade. You know, we're trying to back that up a little bit.
Absolutely.
And so all those things are paying off
Yeah,
for sure. And
because-
so we have seen, like I said, 10-15% growth for every kid across the district.
Because that's kind of the interesting thing from the outside to watch. Because I remember for years the one thing that you all really created pretty much even since you all got here was that pre-K program, waiting list, the line, and unfortunately, and I'm a police commissioner, so I sit and I hear this all the time: is that the city of Gary goes and trains people, and then the other police districts come and take them, because they offer them,
Right.
better pay and obviously better conditions, but. It seemed like that was going on with the pre-K program, and what was happening is that you all, you were putting work in, that they were stimulated, and then all of a sudden these young babies, these young minds get gobbled up by the competition and swayed to come over there because they're told the grass is greener. We know that isn't necessarily the case, and so now you have been able to start to pass it on, because that was kind of one of the challenges. I remember even Dr. Hinckley talking about it. It was hard to pass on from the next. You were losing students in the gap. They were coming from pre-K, and all of them wouldn't matriculate up into the elementary schools. And then they'd leave the elementary schools. All of them wouldn't make it to the middle schools. And then, going on to the high schools. You all have been doing a better job of kind of having these students matriculate all the way through the district to completion.
Yeah, and that's been absolutely a concerted effort.
Yeah.
That we've done many things in place to kind of ensure that happens.
Yeah.
I can tell you at the preschool, do we capture every kid? No, we don't. But we are still committed to offering a free preschool to our community, because we know that the investment, whether they stay with us or not, is still an investment in a kid that needs to have those pre-readiness skills as they get into kindergarten. We have lots of kids who enter into our kindergarten that still are learning their letters and pre-stuff that they need to know because of the state testing now. You have to have that stuff when you walk into school.
Right.
That's the expectation. So we have a very rigorous curriculum that we have implemented at the pre-K as far as, phonics and all those things, but it's all play-based, and that is definitely paying dividends. So a lot of those kids, because of that, are then migrating over to our elementary school.
Yeah.
In addition, we've implemented that those kids are taking tours before they leave, which is new to the district in the last probably 2 years. So if you're a fifth grader or a sixth grader, we're making sure that we take you on a bus over to see, the new school, the new middle school, and that you're getting hooked up with a buddy, and that we're, saying, hey, meet so-and-so, and they're going to help you through at lunch, and they're going to be here if you have any issues and that type of stuff. And by the way, here's your schedule already for next year, and here's the clubs you can join, and da-da-da-da. So that you can get some buy-in and some relationships. That's the key,
I don't think people appreciate what you have, what the district you all have to deal with, because as you're saying this, that's exactly how it was when I was growing up. When I was no bail, I knew kids in my neighborhood who went to Kennedy King. And it was I just knew every time. My mother was a teacher there, so I was always in the school, and I used to visually picture where I wanted my locker to be when I was like 3 years. And then, God forbid, when I was in middle school, to think about the great unknown of going to high school. And I knew I was going to this school in town, Roosevelt. And I remember my dad took me in there one time just to look around, and I saw this huge building, and I just knew I was going to go there. And I knew I was going to have new friends from Tolliston and Beckman. And, it was just a natural, organic type of situation. And now it's not, there's so many other things out here that are competing. So you have to kind of be active or proactive in trying to keep people focused on going to the next rung in the district. It's just a challenge. It's not as easy as people think.
It's definitely not, and it's again back to key of having these clubs and the sports and the things that the kids are invested in, so they want to, stay because they've got
They got
relationships, and
yes.
they've got things to look forward to besides, kids don't always get so excited about math, but they're going to get excited about all the other things that go on around, their school life.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This has been a great show. I want to go back to Coach Boswell real quick. Now we're going to talk that part of the show where we're going to talk a little sports.
Okay.
And so, as you take an assessment, so far, how many months have you really had the opportunity to work with these young studs?
One month.
Okay,
About
1 month.
Yeah, we're 1 month in.
1 month in, and you're a good observer of talent. Where do you stand? I'm not going to put you out there and make you give me a prediction
But
yet.
I- Oh,
yeah.
That's for
Oh,
later.
yeah.
That's for later. But give me an assessment of what the team's looking like.
The team, we've got some good athletes. I'm super excited about. We just had our young offensive tackle, Derek Mister, who committed to play football at the next level at University of Minnesota.
Oh, Big Ten.
So big offensive lineman, 6'7", 300
What?
pounds, agile. Also plays on the basketball team.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Oh,
so we got a Big Ten lineman over
Yeah.
there. So excited about that. We should be able to run the ball. I'm mostly excited about our young group. We've got a good group of sophomores and juniors that should drive the team. That should really, if they do what they're supposed to do and take up the leadership roles, our junior class really has some good athletes. So I'm excited about the direction of the program. We're implementing our system on offense and defense. The kids are starting to take hold and understand what it is that we're trying to do. And I'm excited. We got some good young players.
You talked about running the ball. I kept up with you all last year, and so I know that statewide you had a cornerback that made it into the top 5, or maybe he was in a little higher than that as far as interceptions were.
He was a safety. Yeah, he's a safety.
And then you had a running back for for a little while. He had the most yards in the state. Then I think he fell down. Are these students returning?
No, they're not. They're not. They're not. They're going on.
They were seniors.
The safety's going on to play college ball. He's going to play at I think it's St. Joe's. Over in Whiting.
Yeah.
He's gonna play. He's gonna play at the next level. So they're moving on. But the up and comers, we've got a quarterback, Dante Pope, who's actually today he's down at the IHSAA Student Athlete Leadership Conference.
Wow.
He and Derek Mister both. So they're great leaders. Off the field and on the field.
How tall is he?
He's about 6'2".
Okay.
6'2". He runs track as well, does the long jump. So I encourage multi-sport athletes.
I'm trying to see what your offense looks like.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying
we got a couple of young receivers that should make some waves. We're gonna be young. We're gonna be young, but I'm excited about that because as you build a program, you can invest a lot into the seniors and then they're gone. But if you make that investment at the JV and the freshman level and our young sophomore junior class, a lot of them. The sophomores will play varsity this year. That's just building on that foundation for us for the next couple of years.
What are we looking at, like on the other side of the ball?
On the other side of the ball, we got a great middle linebacker. You always want to be solid up the middle.
Absolutely.
We've got a big defensive tackle named Simeon Richardson. Goes about 300 pounds, really holds it down in the middle. And then our middle linebacker, LeBaron Burton. He's also a multi-sport athlete. He runs track. I think he went to the regionals in hurdles, the short hurdles and the long hurdles. But really tall, rangy kid, can really run. And then in the secondary, we got some young guys. So we got some obviously places to fill in for the kid who left us to go on to play at the next level. But we've got a couple of young players in that secondary who've been making plays over the summer. But we're solid up the middle. We've got some good linebackers. We've got good depth on the defensive line. I've never come into a situation, especially at Westside, where we have so many linemen. We've got so many big bodies. We've got so many big guys that can move. They're athletic. So
on the offensive line,
offensive and defensive
quarterback
line.
who's a stud, he should
be protected. He should be protected. So we got a lot of big guys. He's got a Big Ten lineman in front of him. But we got a lot of big bodies. We're looking for some small guys that can run, some small, quick guys.
Now, what
we get them in behind. We are this year. We're still in the conference with Hammond.
With all the Hammond teams.
Hammond and East Chicago. Next year we'll be transitioning into I think it's called the Greater South Shore Conference. With
so it's our last year.
this is our last year in the conference. But again, the goal every year is to win the conference championship.
Absolutely.
So we're looking forward to that, and Hammond Morton. And
That's what I was about to say. Hammond Morton is probably the best out of that lot.
Yeah, they're solid teams. I mean, everybody is solid. Everybody's solid.
I'm not going to get you in trouble, Coach. I'll do the talking.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited again. The goal is conference championship. If we can go out with the trophy this year, that'll be something they can never take away from. So we were the last to win the conference championship in the Hammond Conference, and we'll be moving on to the South Shore Conference.
I'm telling you, I'm expecting big things. I really am, because I'm excited. I've been like this for about 2 years, and then when I heard you got there, I'm all ginned up, you can tell. But here's what I see. You know how Andrean is looked at now. I mean, Andrean is almost guaranteed to go downstate.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you all like that in 3 years. I'm serious. I'm expecting it, because I think that once the buzz gets out there, it's already around, then all of a sudden you're going to start getting the students. You're the only game in town. There are stud athletes here. Look at your linemen.
Yeah.
So then you get these skill players behind there. You should be able to do some damage and hang with the Maryvilles. Oh, forget Maryvilles, the Crown Points, and all those schools. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
There's shout out to Hammond Morton and all those.
There's good football being played all around, you know.
Yeah.
There's good football being played. We want to be competitive.
That's why you're the lawyer here. You're so diplomatic.
Yeah, and now we've got the facilities to compete with them.
Yes.
What's opening day?
Opening day is the
home game. What's our
first week? We're in South Bend. I think that's the 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 18th.
Who are you playing in South Bend?
South Bend Riley.
Okay.
So that
They're
first
pretty
weekend,
decent.
strike that. The 19th, we're in South Bend. So the 26th is the home opener versus Calumet.
Oh, okay.
So nice little, you know, rivalry.
W.
Yeah. Their coach actually, I heard when I started touting us as Gary hometown team.
I know Calumet.
He told somebody, he said, well, you know, Calumet's in Gary too. I was like, kind of, I guess, you know, on the
whatever.
You know, by
whatever.
Calumet Township, but
exactly.
we know Gary, you know, so that Gary Calumet rivalry, we'll get that thing going week 1.
Well, it's a rivalry in their heads. You got to beat the other team once.
We'll be rolling.
I'm gonna be the smack talker. I'm gonna be the smack talker.
We'll be rolling out our new. I mean, Calumet made an investment in their facilities a couple years ago. That's paid some dividends.
I like Glenn Johnson and all those guys over there, and they got a nice little scoreboard.
Yeah,
we're gonna crush them.
Yeah.
Ours is nicer.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah,
you know where I'm at.
It's our turn now. It's our turn now. We made the investment, so it's time to pay dividends.
Absolutely, man. Now this has been absolutely amazing. Of course, we're doing the coaches show.
Let's do it.
You're going to be a big part of that. Dr. Paige, closing remarks, man. This was fun.
2 quick things. One, we have 10 teacher openings throughout the district, which is not uncommon for all districts. So I'm just announcing that we have 10 teacher openings K through 12. If you're interested in teaching for us, you don't necessarily have to have your teaching license. We'll pay for you to go back to school. We pay for the whole thing while you teach for us. So if you're interested, please contact our HR department. GarySchools.org.
Yeah.
Also, a friendly reminder that the Enrollment Fair is July 27th and 28th at Westside. Parents, we need you to enroll. You can still enroll now. Not still. We want you to enroll now and still come to the Enrollment Fair.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But we only have a limited time to do that because we have desks that we need to order. So please enroll now. Please.
Yeah.
So that was it.
There you go, Dr. Paige. I had fun today. Definitely hope listen, you keep it moving. Take it easy. You know, you gotta let that leg heal.
Oh, I got a little leg problem.
That's all. Look at you. You're a trooper. You like football. Yeah.
I do.
Another show in the books. Always appreciate it. I mean, don't be a stranger here. Matter of fact, we're going to invite you on regularly so you can tell us the good news. In addition to you going out here coaching these young men. And of course, I want to thank everybody else, Chelsea Crystal, just everybody who helped make the podcast possible. We're going to get ready to get out of here. Big Papa's coming up in just a couple of minutes. He's going to take you home body rolling in the afternoon. Then we've got great evening programming. Wake up with some inspirational programming. Then it all goes off the rails at 7:30 when I get back on for Wake Up GI with Jeffrey Smith. Until then, everybody, have a good one. Go do some stuff. Be important. More importantly, if you want to, mask up. We're out.